I'm Dr. Jim Siebert. It's time for the tropical forecast here on YouTube from Fox 26 Houston. Now, what's been going on in the last 24 hours in the Atlantic really is not that big of a surprise. I mean, we've had a couple of things for the last about 10 days or so that have just been blown apart by the upper level winds. And right now, this area right in here is where we've been looking. Now, you see, there's a good bit of convection associated with what's going on with this disturbance. However, the upper level winds are still very, very strong. And so it only has a 10% chance between now and the next 5 days of organizing. And I bet you even has less than that as you look at this. So not only does it kind of come up here and then see how the forecast possibilities make it turn to the right. Well, the fact that it's going to turn to the right, but look what's happening on this side. You see how the clouds are blowing in a kind of a north direction here, kind of wraps around that way. If you come down here, we got strong winds as well coming across. And all this is just to the east of the Bahamas. And so those upper level winds are working in kind of different directions. So anytime as this tries to organize, as any area of low pressure would, it starts to rise and it gets chopped off at the top. And then that energy gets spread and pushed around. So you take this convection and you just spread it out over this whole area. That's why this is most likely not going to organize in anything. Even if it does, it's going to head out to sea anyway. Now, this is what's interesting. This is from the Pacific side. This tropical storm Pamela formed yesterday, and since then it's already made landfall, fell apart quickly, but all this moisture is coming in a big hurry towards Texas. So winds are down to 35 miles per hour. So we're now going to be talking about tropical depression or the remnants of Pamela moving into Texas. But that's a lot of moisture. Now, on the front end of this, we're already seeing some showers firing in. That's not so much from the center of the storm. It's kind of like the beginning moisture that's out ahead of it. All of this is moving fast in the upper level winds. So we're really talking about central Texas. For southeast Texas, especially in Houston, this is going to have very little impact on us. It'll have a little bit, but very little. Central Texas is a different story. Now, the reason why we're very certain it's going to go through this gauntlet is that we've got very strong high pressure here. We got very strong low pressure there, which, by the way, also has dry air associated with that. Dry air and moist air do not like to mix. And so this is just going to squeeze between these two surface features. And that's also why I don't think it's going to have much of an impact on Houston because of the way it's going to move. So as we come in closely, here's a look at where the flood watches are in effect. So there are already flood watches. They had them out yesterday in central Texas. The more to the farthest to the east it's close. I mean, of course, we're going to monitor this closely and watch it, but this is probably as close as the bad weather is really going to get. And I'll show you why I'm pretty confident about that in a second. But as far as rainfall, there's going to be, and even now, yesterday at this hour when I was showing you this, the rainfall rates would have been up to maybe 7, even 8 inches of rainfall. So we had purple showing up on the screen. Do you see the purple anymore? No, you don't. You see red, dark red, which would be 3 to 4 inches. In fact, we don't even see blue. Blue is not showing up on this. Now, granted, this gets close. I mean, it's close to our viewing area here in southeast Texas, but for Houston, it's in the green and in the light green. So we're talking about an inch or less, even if that happens. Now, what's interesting, do you see how you have this little clip right here that's pushing off to the east? There's a front that's going to get here. Now, it's not going to get here till Friday, but everything's going to try to push in this direction. And I could see just a little bit on the tail end where we could see that getting close to us. That's all that's going to happen out of the situation, though, because the low, whatever's left of the remnants, is going to move quickly. And for southeast Texas, not much. And actually, even for central Texas, the fact that I have it down to 3 to 4 inches of rain between now and about Saturday, you know, of course, we got a flood watch for that, flash flood watch for that, but that's a lot different than 6, 7, 8 inches of rainfall. So that's what's going on in the tropics. And the most interesting thing in the tropics is not actually over the ocean anymore. It's over Mexico, moving towards central Texas. So that'll wrap things up for today. We'll see you next time.